Welcome to this bonus episode of Evil Done Badly, the worst podcast in existence. It's just as bad as a regular episode and even more annoying. Because, well, I'm terrible at podcasting. But, of course, I love it. And I'm even worse at karaoke. And I love that too. Take a listen to me belting out this classic. Don't stop believing. Hold on to that feeling. Street light people. Oh, yeah. See? Abysmal. Now check out this one. Never gonna give you up. Never gonna let you down. Never gonna run around and desert you. Never gonna make you cry, never gonna say goodbye, never gonna tell a lie and hurt you. We've known each other for so long. Your heart's been aching, but you're too shy to say it. My view on it is that karaoke is no fun if you're actually good at singing. If you can actually sing, go join the orchestra or something and get your ass off of my stage. Make way for the rest of us tone-deaf losers. I'd much rather hear someone mangle Elvis than hear the second coming of the man himself. Get up there and croak out some Shania Twain and make sure it's painful to listen to. So you get what I'm saying. Karaoke is a way for us belching, disharmonious idiots to embarrass ourselves and let loose a little. I don't sound like Freddie Mercury, but give me enough beverages and I'll sure think that I do. And no one will be able to stop me from hollering out Bohemian Rhapsody in the key of, well, crap. My specialty is ruining Piano Man. I think it's pretty much accepted that everyone in the place sucks terribly, and it's not going to prevent anyone from having a good time. Well, at least over here in these parts, it's pretty much accepted. These rules don't apply in certain other cultures, like the Philippines, for example. They expect a much higher quality of singer to hop on stage than we do over here. If you're on a karaoke stage in a Filipino bar, you'd better bring your A game because if you don't, you'll be insulted, booed, and quite possibly have rotten vegetables hurled at your face. It's a whole different ballgame, and it's not okay to be awful. So this is where the episode actually begins, in a Filipino karaoke club. They take their singing quite seriously, and it has resulted in a rather peculiar phenomenon that can turn deadly on occasion. But before we get into that, let me ask you a small favor. Please remember to give us a rating on whatever service you're listening to us on, and help us get to the bottom of the charts. We've got a legacy of inferiority to build here, so thanks in advance for that. And as usual, if you're not already, join up to the wide world of paranormal investigations and ridiculous thrifter groups on Facebook. They are building legacies as well, and are going strong with over 14,000 members each. That's numbers we can only dream of around here. If we ever get to 14 listeners, I'll consider that a resounding success. But first, let's hear the bonus episode theme song. Which doesn't exist, so we'll make something up on the spot. Okay, let's get in there. Karaoke singing is very, very popular in the Philippines. There's karaoke places everywhere, and you can get up and shake your ass around and warble in front of drunken strangers anywhere you want. The economy of the Philippines is not exactly all that stellar most of the time, and a good percentage of people live below the poverty line. So karaoke is a cheap way for people to entertain themselves while enjoying a few beverages. Naturally, poverty and alcohol are a great recipe for violence, so that's not really any kind of a mystery. But what we're about to explore here is pretty baffling. And it'd be pretty silly if it wasn't so goddamn tragic. So these people, they are out to have a good time, and they want to be entertained and make the most of it. Not in a stupid, embarrassing way. They actually want you to be good. They want, well, in effect, they want a cheap concert that will get their toes tapping and not make their ears bleed. If you're off key, you'll be soon off the stage. Simple as that. They have a high standard of quality for their amateur crooners. I get the feeling that if I was up there belting out Sweet Caroline, I'd be yanked off the stage even before the first bum 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 even kicks in. So, these connoisseurs of fine karaoke entertainment are a little bit harder to please than most of us atonal white people. But where this really gets interesting is the fact that certain songs are especially hard to get right, and they will get under the Filipino audience's skin even more than your typical Bon Jovi ballad. There is one song in particular that totally drives these people over the edge, and it makes them violent to the point that most karaoke bars have actually removed it from their systems. And that song is My Way. Not the Limp Bizkit one, I could totally get that. But My Way by Frank Sinatra. Huh? Yeah, that's what I thought too. Apparently, if old Blue Eyes was up on stage singing it himself, it still wouldn't be good enough for these people. It's pretty weird that if you're gonna sing this stupid song in front of people, you'd better fucking nail it, or else there's gonna be extreme consequences. It's not a great song by any means. By all accounts, even Frank hated it, but it was just too big of a hit for him to ignore. So he got stuck singing it over and over, but he was well compensated, so I don't feel so bad. And I don't particularly like the song, but it doesn't actually stir up any animosity in me if someone decides to sing it. Goodly, badly, or otherwise. Now, if someone got on stage and started groaning out all 10 minutes of November Rain, I'd run up and kick them in the nuts myself. I don't care if Axl Rose is up there singing it in person. He's getting his nuts kicked. And on second thought, if it is him, he's getting his nuts kicked doubly hard for writing this stupid thing. So a kick in the nuts is not pleasant. But some people are not content to just wail away on someone's testicles. Holy shit. I think this is the first time I've ever uttered the word testicles on the show. That's quite surprising considering how juvenile we are around here. Anyways, moving on. 29-year-old Romy Baligula was whiling away the evening hours of May 29, 2007 at a karaoke bar in San Mateo of the Philippines. Everyone was having a good time, the drinks were flowing, and the music was great. That is until Romy works up the nerve to take the stage. He gets up there, punches up his song selection, and as the opening bars of My Way pierce the night air, the whole audience sits there in stunned silence, glaring at Romy. They have no idea what kind of crap this guy is trying to pull, because no one ever dares to sing this song. What is this guy doing? I'm sure by now, Romy had to be at least a little apprehensive about his decision to attempt this forbidden oral delicacy. But he soldiered on, gripped the microphone tightly, and began bellowing into the expectant crowd. The crowd did not know what to make of this guy. Who the fuck does he think he is? He had better be Pavarotti, Liberace, Bing Crosby, all rolled into one. Well, it turns out they're going to give Romy a fighting chance and let him prove himself. He digs deep. He's singing right from his lungs and he begins letting it out of him. Here comes Sinatra's biggest hit. And he gets about a quarter of the way through it, and the crowd starts to become restless. He's not that bad, but he's not exactly Celine Dion either. He's also not Liberace, Bing Crosby. He's not even Bill Cosby, for fuck's sakes. His voice starts to crack and warble, and by the halfway point, or 2 minutes and 18 seconds, I had to figure that out exactly. My OCD made me calculate that. And by the halfway point, his performance is completely unacceptable. Now, one member of the crowd begins to take particular offense to his rendition and Romy starts to sweat from his armpits to his arse cheeks. He's being stared down by an angry-looking security guard named Robalito Ortega. He's being glared at, but this wayward son is determined to carry on. The bouncer's glare becomes pointed and even more scathing. Romy is about to be sawed in half by this man's laser vision. The bouncer locks eyes with Romy, and he makes a cut it motion and signals for Romy to sit his punk ass down and step away from the mic. By now, Romy is well aware of the bouncer's disapproval. But he will not be denied. His voice swells as he goes into the second chorus, and with one last chance at redemption, he screeches, quote, "I did it my way," unquote. One more time before the bouncer can take no more of this, and he decides he's going to do it his way. He pulls out his pistol, and without a second thought, he buries a bullet square in poor Romy's chest. Poor Romy would not survive, all because he dared to sing the unsingable. A martyr to all those who just want to sing pitifully in front of a bunch of drunken idiots who, in all likelihood, can't sing either. Well, if I had to get shot every time I did something badly, I'd have more holes in me than SpongeBob SquarePants. Okay, so you're saying this is just an isolated incident, right? So, one nutjob security guard, he went a little crazy and he shot one guy in a fit of rage while singing My Way. Yes, it happens. Okay, we're going to try and sweep that under the rug. But when it happens over and over again, it becomes a pattern of bad singing brutality that the rest of the world can't quite grasp. Not only does Filipino karaoke result in an extraordinarily high rate of violence, but a lot of this violence winds up being concentrated around this song. The song My Way is reportedly associated with somewhere between 6 and 12 murders over a 10-year span. It's so well known that the phenomenon is frequently referred to as the My Way killings. And it's not quite over yet, because in 2018, a man fired it up at a backyard birthday party, and he got stabbed in the chest before even attempting to sing it. And this poor guy, he died at the hospital later on. This is totally fucking bonkers. And another notable incident of this weird phenomenon was in 2010, when a town leader was singing this song while riding along in a parade. Him and his aide are just in the car there, just driving along, when a couple of thugs ride up beside him and shoot the both of them. So this guy is singing the song, and right out in front of everybody, he's assassinated. Now, he is a public official, and I'm sure someone felt that they had good reason to want this public official town leader guy dead. And it's probably just a coincidence that he happened to be heaving this particular song out of him at the time he was shot. Either way, it helped perpetuate the legend of the song My Way by Frank Sinatra being somehow cursed. With that said, though, the number of incidents of My Way violence has waned in recent years. But it's probably more due to the fact that most places won't let people sing it than in an actual reduction of karaoke craziness. So, why the fuck would this annoying song inspire such murderous violence? Well, the prevailing theory is that the majority of people of the Philippines are economically, alcoholically, and societally predisposed to violence. And, well, I've said all that before, and this becomes a problem. When someone gets on stage and starts singing and flapping about how magnificent they are in front of everybody. The song comes across, well, at least on a surface level, as a very arrogant, grandiose pile of nauseating vanity. When drunken, miserable Filipinos see you up there bragging about how you've got everything under control, and you did it your way, it rubs angry people the wrong way and can often result in bloodshed. It goes over especially poorly when you're singing badly and bragging about how good you've got it. It's just like when you feel bad about yourself after seeing people on Instagram living their best lives. I mean, watching other people pretend to be happy, is a great way to make you hate yourself. So, these people hate themselves, and they don't like having it rubbed in their faces by your ugly face inadequately yelping out shitty songs that you're not qualified to sing. So, yes, you're doing it your way, and that's fine, but it's not okay if you suck at it. Apparently, it's an unwritten rule, and you should know what you're getting yourself into when you attempt this. You could wind up shot, stabbed, or at the very least, kicked in the nuts. Either way, guys and girls, calm the fuck down. It's just a stupid song. Now, if someone ever decides that making terrible podcasts is such a sin, that the hosts of these podcasts need to be murdered, well, I'm going to be snuffed out immediately. Well, if I do get snuffed out because I'm so bad, maybe then somebody will listen to the show. Nah, not going to happen. I'm going to just keep on being ignored, even after I'm dead. I mean, being dead is a pretty good gimmick, but, I figure in my case, it's pretty hopeless. So, these My Way killings are tragic, senseless murders that make no sense. But the worst bout of karaoke violence in history did not involve the Philippines or Frank Sinatra. In 2008, 52-year-old Weenus Chumkanerd. Yep. Weenus. I don't know if that's a weird translation or something, but that's one of the funniest names I've ever heard. Okay, keep it together, try and move on. 52-year-old Weenus Chumkanerd was at his home in South Thailand while his next-door neighbors were having a get-together and enjoying some Thai pop karaoke. But for some reason, amongst the Thai pop was sprinkled multiple terrible renditions of John Denver's Take Me Home Country Roads. Okay, that seems a little odd, but that doesn't matter. They really like the song. Now, little Weenus made a couple of trips over to ask them to quiet down and quit it with the John Denver. He's not an unreasonable person. At one point, he reasonably threatens to, quote, shoot them and finish them off, unquote, if they don't shut the fuck up. Sounds a little ominous, doesn't it? Yeah, that's a little scary, but everyone at the party was way too tipsy to take his threat seriously. However, this nutjob was not kidding. He then proceeds to shoot the hostess, 36-year-old Dr. Suthathip Thamachart, and 7 more party guests to death. He was so enraged by their awful singing that he shot his own son-in-law without even noticing. He actually felt bad about that one, he said afterwards, and he tried to get him medical attention. That's before he took off and went on the lam. He was then rounded up by the police, and matter-of-factly told him more or less, hey, I warned them. I came over twice. So what happened? That's on them. They had it coming. Wow. That's quite the justification there, Weenus. Woo! So that's quite the bloodbath over a few poorly sung tunes. So singing poorly and choosing forbidden songs will get you hurt. And the other cardinal sin of karaoke etiquette seems to be hogging the mic. There have been numerous incidences of people refusing to relinquish the stage and winding up in the hospital. So if you insist on subjecting the unsuspecting public to your butchered rendition of Betty Davis' Eyes, it's best if you do it one song at a time and move on. Step aside and let some other tuneless cunt embarrass themselves for a while. And there you have it. Another bonus episode of Evil Done Badly is over and done with. I hope you enjoyed our discussion of ultra karaoke violence, and I hope you'll join us again next time for more crime nonsense. Thanks for listening. My name is Dick, and I will see you next time.